We've all seen Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, in which Anakin Skywalker so mercilessly kills Sith Lord Count Dooku on board General Grievous's flagship during the Battle of Coruscant. But what if Dooku had survived? How would the events of the galaxy been changed if he had not died that day? That's the question that we're going to be exploring today.
Kill him. Kill him now.
Imagine that, during that climactic battle at the start of Revenge of the Sith, Dooku had won the battle and killed Anakin. We think that might have thrown a spanner into the works of Darth Sidious's master plan. Sidious had hedged his bets on Anakin Skywalker and hoped that he would become his next apprentice, but even with Skywalker dying, Sidious would not have lost. Sidious never loses, just like the casino owners on Canto Bight.
Are you going to kill me?
I would certainly like to.
I know you would. I can feel you.
We think Sidious would have gained a new appreciation for Dooku. He would have seen that the Count was a superior Force user and adapted the master plan to include Dooku and not Skywalker, because that devious Sith master is nothing if not flexible and resourceful. Though, in all honesty, Sidious's next move would have played out the same as it did in the movie. But instead of sending Anakin, now known as Darth Vader, to Mustafar to wipe out the Separatist Council and shut down the droids across the galaxy, he would have sent Dooku instead. We think Dooku would have willingly slaughtered the leaders.
I have good news for you, my lord. The war has begun.
Dooku was a pragmatic and ideological man that sided with the worlds and people that were being oppressed by the Republic, but he still very clearly is not a fan of other Separatist leaders. If given the chance to remove that leadership once and for all, we think Dooku would have taken it. He was deep in the Separatist Council and they would never have seen it coming. So far, so good, and nothing much has changed. But here's where things would start to go off the rails.
I thought you were the leader here, Dooku.
This had nothing to do with me, I assure you.
With Anakin dead, there would be no one to inform the Jedi Council that Chancellor Palpatine was the Sith Lord Darth Sidious. Mace Windu and his posse of Jedi Knights wouldn't have gone to face off against Sidious, and no one would have been any the wiser to the Sith Master's plot. We think that the closest anyone would have got to finding out his big secret would be Senator Padme Amidala. Widowed by the death of Anakin Skywalker, she would have gone after his murderer Count Dooku with a vengeance sometime after giving birth to her twins. She would have either ended up uncovering the plot, or more likely, dead.
I'm not afraid to die. I've been dying a little bit each day since you came back into my life.
Now, here's where things really start to go awry. Sidious would have declared Order 66, but would Count Dooku have gone along with it? Yes, he was a Sith Lord, but he had also spent many years as a Jedi, and knew many that lived and trained at the temple. He had a hate for the Jedi Order, but seeing the entirety of it wiped out been too much for him and pushed it over the edge. We think it might have. What makes Count Dooku such a compelling villain is that he is not just completely cold-blooded and evil. Just look at the sadness in his eyes when he cut Anakin's arm off in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Brave of you, boy. But I would have thought you had learned your lesson.
I am a slow learner.
Similarly, he pulls back and spares Obi-Wan Kenobi from losing an arm and leg in the same duel. He has a heart, albeit damaged and blackened. Behind it all, Dooku had feelings and still held the Jedi in high esteem. He was probably privy to the master plan and knew of Order 66 and what it included, and in theory would have been okay with it. But seeing such a horrific act play out across the galaxy could possibly have been too much for him to bear. We can see Dooku protesting and walking away from Darth Sidious for such an act.
You question my loyalty? Always. I have done everything you asked.
Dooku would part in peace and leave his former Sith Master to continue with his plan. But as we're sure you can imagine, being a Sith is not a life that you can simply walk away from, with no consequences. Ultimately, we think this would have been Count Dooku's ultimate demise. He was a strong, powerful, and influential character, and more importantly, he would have been a loose end, at least as far as Darth Sidious would be concerned. It might have taken several days, it might have taken several years, but whatever the length of time, there's no way that Count Dooku would have been allowed to remain alive. He was a potential threat to Darth Sidious and his new empire.
The end of the war is near, General.
But the loss of Count Dooku.
His death was a necessary loss.
Whether it was via clone troopers, stormtroopers, Inquisitors, some new apprentice, or even perhaps the hand of Sidious himself, Dooku would have been killed for his betrayal. Jedi Master Yoda was right when he said that once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. From the moment he pledged himself to Darth Sidious, sometime around 32 BBY, he was doomed and his fate was sealed. And not matter whether Dooku would have won or lost that battle on the invisible hand in Revenge of the Sith, an untimely death was always in his future. It was just a matter of when. The Empire would still have risen, the Emperor would have taken a new apprentice, and the galaxy would still be doomed. But through it all, somewhere out there were two twins, Luke and Leia, both with Skywalker blood coursing through their veins. And maybe, just maybe, the pair of them would still have been able to start a rebellion, end the Empire, and save the galaxy.
You have lost. No. No. No.
So, what do you think? Would Dooku have gone along with Darth Sidious's master plan? Answer yes or no in the comments section down below. Leave a reason too. It's always fun to read your theories. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to never miss an upload. And as always, may the Force be with you.